Hello and welcome back to this new video of mine. I wanna open this can with you. This is a energy drink, but apparently it's healthy. It's a focus and energy drink and called Buddy. So it's a live taste test and I think it's supposed to taste like mango. Oh, why can I not open it? This tastes so watered down. What the hell? No wonder this has almost no sugar. It just tastes like water with a little bit of taste. But I'm gonna sip this and hope that it's giving me a bit more energy. Just be aware I am living with other people and also it's pouring rain outside, so it could be that it's a bit noisy today. We're just gonna deal with it because we have a very fun video today that I'm so excited about. I recently moved. Moving vlog and like how I organized this entire room that you can see part of right here. This is a bit messy. We're gonna ignore this. But everything you can see in this room so far, I've done with you guys in one of my upcoming videos. So I will share everything with you, the entire process. I'm gonna give you a little room tour as well. So if you're curious, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss any of that. But today we're gonna talk about my TBR shelf. I live currently in the Netherlands, but I also still have stuff at my parents' in Germany. And they are like my big bookshelves with most of the books I've read so far. Or with books that I still want to read, but like are in the very far future that I'm not gonna read right now. I also still have a TBR card there that I built with you like half a year ago or something. So this is still existing, this is still going. But now I thought, because I moved back here to the Netherlands, and I was like, you know what? It just makes sense if I take all the books here that I want to read soon, put them here so that I always have them on hand because I study here. It just makes sense to have them here, I guess, that I also can see them, you know? So this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is my TBR shelf. And I am extremely, extremely excited because I've never had that, to be honest. So I've read a few books on the shelf, but we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty details of everything right now. But the thing is, I also feel a bit guilty because if I look at this, it's a bit excessive. I'm only gonna show you the bottom ones, so including this shelf still, and here this one that you cannot fully see yet, because everything below that belongs to my boyfriend. So it just doesn't make sense right now for me to show you everything. So we're just gonna cover my section now, and we're gonna get right into it. Okay, I just moved up a chair so that you can still see me. If that's not effort, I don't know what is. I'm gonna move this away quickly so that you can see this better. The first top shelf is actually not that interesting, so we're just briefly gonna go through it. These here, oh my god, already breaking stuff, I swear. This is a special edition of The Power of Now in Dutch, and this is a special edition of The New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. They both belong to my boyfriend, but I just found them so pretty that I thought they're just gonna stand up here. Now we go into this shelf, which starts and marks the beginning of my bookshelves. We have my very handy dandy strand pouch here. I love this thing and I have all my annotation supplies in here. I don't know if you can even properly see. I store everything in here, markers, annotation supplies, bookmarks, like book stickers, everything. This is the best purchase I feel like ever made actually. So I'm gonna put this up here for a second. We have a few tarot and oracle cards here. I don't know if that's your vibe. I had a phase that I went through and I just feel like it's cute to have, you know? So one about angel messages for every single day. Then we have the Rose Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, which I actually really love. Like, I love the look of these. Everything Rebecca Campbell does when it comes to like tarot or oracle, I love severely. And then by Gabrielle Bernstein we have Super Attractor. Not a big fan of those, I feel like. I mean, I have her book Super Attractor, but I feel like, to be honest, like this felt a bit more like a cash grab. But don't tell anyone. Then we have my reading journal here that I sometimes use and sometimes not. Sometimes I just forget about it and then it just rots up here. I have a book about skincare, so this is just like a Bible about skincare basically. And then a few books that I use for my studies, so like Principles of Marketing, Business Model Generation, or The Accounting Game. So nothing very interesting for you guys right now, so that's all I'm gonna have to say about that actually. Moving on, this is a bit of a messy shelf actually. We have, it's called Plötzlich Rebell, so this is like a German edition and it's a special edition that I got off a specific website and it's having beautiful sprayed edges, but the thing is that this is by Julie Kagawa and it's based on the, what is it called? I forgot what the series is called right now because I only read it in German. I think it's the Iron King and Iron Fae type of situation. And this is the sequel. So this is about Robin Goodfellow, and I have not read this one yet, and it was just a impulse purchase. I read the entire series like without the sequel when I was 14 or something. Loved it. One of my favorite book series. Yeah, I really want to read this one, but I feel like I need to reread the other ones first because I don't have any clue anymore about like the entire series actually and what happened there. Then we have Lore, Bind Your Fate to Mine. I bought this years ago, like when I first got into reading books in English, and I'm actually like really, what even is this? Ugh. Really confused because I've heard a few people say that it's not good, and it just sounded very interesting actually, like it sounded fun, but then I found out that it's not written in first person, so I kind of got thrown off by it. So if you liked it, let me know in the comments down below, because as I said, I still need to read it. I mean, this is my TBR shelf, so most of these are actually unread. But moving on to my non-fiction, which these are actually partly read already. I just feel like non-fiction is something that you can always keep in case you still want to reread it later on, because I feel like it just depends on your life circumstance in the moment. So we have The Game of Life and How to Play It. I read this, or I listened to this actually years ago. Was fine, was cute, but was not really necessary actually. Then I read The Miracle Morning, or I almost finished it, but actually I felt like there was not much information anymore there for me that I had to take in, so that was about it. It's such a cute bookmark. Wow. I'm gonna just take this out at this point. You know, I'm just gonna say I read this, whatever. Because sometimes with non-fiction I find it difficult to finish them. Same with this one, The Success Principles, How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be, by Jack Canfield. I started this years ago, but it's like such a long book. It has almost 500 pages and it's like a lot of words, you know? A ton of words. But this one is actually very interesting. Like, this one was a really good book so far, and it actually did change my life. So I want to continue it. I just never pick it up, and I think that's the biggest issue. Then The $1 Million Blog. I bought this at Waterstones once in Amsterdam, I think, and I finished this one already. I loved it. It was really like giving me good insights into how to start a blog and everything, and it motivated me. So that was like the entire purpose, right, of buying that book. Then Good Vibes, Good Life, How Self-Love is the Key to Unlocking Your Greatness. I read this, I really enjoyed it too, but it was based on a lot of like basic principles. So I wouldn't say you need to read this if you are already a bit advanced into like manifestation, mindset, all that stuff. Here we have by James Clear, the German edition of Atomic Habits. I never got around to finishing this one actually. I'm still like in the beginning of it, but I liked it so far. I just never finished it. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Also a book that most women actually have in their shelves right now, I feel like, is Why Men Love Bitches. It was very fun to read actually. It was really entertaining, especially if you're single, but in general it just was entertaining. But I wouldn't take everything too seriously that's being discussed in here. Just take what resonates and leave what doesn't, you know? That really applies to this one. Then we have How to Be an Overnight Success, Making It in Business by the founder and CEO of Rodeo, which is Mariah Hatzistefanis. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. I didn't know how to pronounce that just now. I'm so interested in like biographies and autobiographies of founders, especially when it comes to like the makeup industry or the publishing industry. So this was something that I was really interested in, but I have not picked up yet. A book everyone has at this point, 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. I bought this because Pinterest inspired me and influenced me in that case. Did not get further than 50 pages in, which is a bit embarrassing, but I'm gonna continue reading at one point. I feel like that's with a lot of self-help books. Sometimes you start them, you take out of them what you needed in that moment, and then you continue them at a later point. Same with Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm a big fan of his work. I'm very interested in what he talks about, but I just feel like this is very heavy. Like, this is a heavy read where you really need to understand everything, because it really dives into like physics and neurobiology. So I feel like right now this is not something that I just pick up when I'm reading in bed at night, you know? A book that's very tiny actually, but that I can really recommend to you is The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson. This is a bit more spiritual, but it was really eye-opening to me actually, and it was also referring to God, but it can, like, you can basically use any other term than God. Like, if you don't believe in God, you can use anything else. So that really was something that resonated with me in a weird way, like it connected with me on a deeper level. So I really enjoyed that actually. Then we have The Power of Now, again by Eckhart Tolle. I started this and also got around page 50 and never continued. So let's see if I still do that. Next up we have Badass Habits by Jen Sincero. I read her first two books, which are You Are a Badass at Making Money and You Are a Badass. So I thought this is also interesting. I really find her writing style easy to read and get into, especially in this section. It can sometimes feel a bit dreadful and very difficult to read, and this you just pick up very easily. And lastly, How to Manifest, Bring Your Goals into Alignment with the Alchemy of the Universe. Just a cute book with a few illustrations and stuff, and I got about halfway through. But it was cute so far. So I don't feel like I explained this concept of this bookshelf properly to you yet, so I'm quickly gonna do that. So the thing is, this bookshelf will not stay that way for very long. Once I read a book, I will take it the next time I go to Germany into my library sort of, or into my childhood home, where I have my bigger bookshelves. So that will then be moved and I will take another book with me, or if I purchase books, they will be stored here. So this is just a moment in time right now. This will probably look completely different in half a year. Okay, I still need to make this organized again, but we're just gonna deal with it right now how it is. Actually gonna move over here because that's easier. Okay, oh my god. We have a little jelly cat here that I got for my birthday and I love it. I think it's so cute, so I just kept it here. Please let me know, do you keep the tags on them or not? Like, I am not a collector as of right now, but I just don't have any clue. Do you keep them or not? Like, what's the deal? So I was my little crystal, and I'm gonna start moving out these ones here because this is one of my favorite shelves of the entire bookshelf. I love it so much. I love the look of it as well. First up we have Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. I am so excited to read this. I really want to read it this fall because this is just a book that has been on my list for a very long time now and I cannot wait to pick this up. I've heard so many good things and it's about a witch and a witch hunter. So sign me up. Sounds amazing. Next up we have a book that I'm very excited about owning actually. This is Archer's Voice in the special edition that they had at Barnes & Noble because it's also annotated. I just saw that it had like a little scratch here, like from transporting, but it's fine because I brought this all the way from New York City and I'm just obsessed. It's been through a bit, you know, like it has a few dents on the actual dust jacket, but it's fine. Like whatever, this is mine to love now. And I've never read this, completely new for me, but like, I mean, look. How cool is that? I've never seen that in my life and I really want to pick this up like ASAP now that I see it in front of me again. Like I'm getting excited again. It's just like that recently I didn't feel like picking it up and I've heard a lot of people actually cry about this, so I don't know what to expect. Is it good? Is it not? I don't know. I feel like this is one of those OG TikTok books actually. Ooh, new video idea. As if I don't have like 20 videos planned, it feels like. But what about I read OG TikTok books for a week? Is Happy Place a TikTok book? I don't know. I'm not that accustomed with that entire scene. I don't know. I feel like that could be a fun video. And if you have any book ideas that I should read for that video, also let me know down below. And in general, let me know in the comments down below if I should read one of these books next, because I trust your opinion very much and I find it sometimes hard to choose and pick which one I should read next. So just let me know. Then we have the Old Crate Special Edition and Signed Edition of Once Upon a Broken Heart. I am very proud to own this. This was years ago that I bought this. I didn't pick it up yet and I just felt like back then I really found it interesting and intriguing. So the funny thing is I wasn't even on BookTube back then. Or I also wasn't really on Book Talk, so I had actually no clue about this. I was just like, oh, let's check Old Crate just for fun, you know, because I just wanted some cute like hardcover editions of nice books. So like random. And then I saw this and I was like, oh, this sounds so good and it looks beautiful. So I bought it and now everyone is loving this series. And I'm like, I should pick it up, but it's written in third person, so I'm a bit... As I said, that's not my forte, that's not what I love right now, but maybe I should just start, you know, maybe I should just give it a shot instead of always saying I don't want to read it right now, because then I will never read it. Another book I'm excited to own because of its sprayed edges. No, actually I'm excited to own it because it's Catherine Center and I read The Bodyguard by her and I loved The Bodyguard. It was such a good book, very funny and very fast paced. So this is something that I would actually enjoy reading for like a 24-hour readathon or something. I think this could be very fun and interesting to read in one of those. But in general, this is her latest release and I love the premise of this, so I'm excited to get to that one. The last book on this shelf, as you can already see, is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This has been through a few things, you know? It just happens, like if you move books everywhere from A to B to Z, it's just normal that sometimes they get a few scratches. I'm not that picky, you know? I don't like if a dust jacket is ripped off or something, like I also don't like that this is a bit slightly ripped, but it's fine. Like I also annotate in my books, it's something that I use, you know, like it's just materialistic. Like ultimately, who cares? One of you guys commented months ago, I think, that I should read this, that this is so good and I'm gonna love this. So I picked it up and I have not read it yet, which shame on me actually. But I'm just a bit thrown off. I started reading it, like, and I got to page 2 or 3. Like I really got not far. I'm on page 4. So so really not far. And it's done beautifully, like you can see here. But the issue I'm having with this is that it's written in third person again, and that's what I don't like. I don't know, maybe I should listen to the audiobook. And now all these books are falling over, which we love. So a book that will not even stay on here anymore is Heartless by Elsie Silver, because I recently read that one, as you can tell by the annotations, and I devoured this. I loved this. So this will be actually going. I'm actually so excited to put this next to the first book. I feel like they look so cute all together, you know? But yeah, so far I really like the series. I really want to continue. So soon maybe it's just going to be a placeholder for Powerless. Who knows? I think it was Powerless, right? Or Reckless? I always forget which one it is that's coming next. Then I have here by Colleen Hoover a book. It's the edition of It Ends With Us. I started this one a few years ago. My mom got it for me back when it came out. Because back then, like 15, 16, I loved Colleen Hoover books. Like the one with Will and Lakin and stuff. I loved those. But in general, I feel like right now I'm not really into Colleen Hoover anymore. Just because I haven't read anything of hers anymore. And I know there's a lot of controversy regarding her books and everything, and I just don't know, I just cannot speak for that, like, because I have not read it. And I actually did not pick this up because I started this and it felt weird. I was like, why can I not get into this? And then I thought, that's really ridiculous. I thought that this was the second part in the series. So this is so confusing to me. They have a sticker on here with the sequel. And I thought this one was the first part and this was the second, you know? Like I thought this was the first book because it says the continuation of the biggest bestseller of Colleen Hoover. So for me it didn't make sense, and I thought, oh wow, this is the second part in a series, and that's why I don't know the characters, blah blah blah. And that's why I didn't pick it up. And it's actually embarrassing. So I will need to continue reading this, especially now that the movie came out. And yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna love it or if I'm gonna hate it. Who knows at this point. A book I'm very excited to read is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I mean, I just like Emily Henry's books. I love them actually. Like, I feel like they give very good vibes. I like her writing style a lot. It's more like, I don't really remember her characters after a while, or I don't remember specific scenes. It's just when I read the books, they give me a very good vibe. And that's why I like her books so much. I really want to pick this one up very soon, but I already wanted to pick this one up in summer, and now it's almost fall, so I don't know when I will get around to reading this one, but hopefully soon. And hopefully still this year. Shit. This is like such a cute little light string because it's with crystals, and I thought, oh my god, it looks so cute, but it always falls over. And I was so pissed at it. How annoying can it be? We're gonna keep it like this now, and I wanna put the plant up here again. Everything has its place again. You see? Perfect. Okay, lovely. A book that I want to read with you guys, or I'm already reading with you guys right now in a video, is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. Why did I do that now? I don't know. I didn't get far yet. Page 30. But I love it. It has potential, I think, of becoming a 5-star just based on the writing style and the characters. Okay, I don't think I'm in focus right now, but that's also not the point. Like, we want the books in focus, so it's all fine. This is also one of my favorite shelves because I just love how it's color coordinated. First up, we have the first 2 books in the Mile High series. No, not the first 2, because the first one is actually Mile High. The first 2 that I have not read yet of the series, which is The Right Move and Caught Up, so book 2 and book 3 in the series. The 4th one is also out right now, which is Play Along. I'm still gonna take some time with buying that one, but I'm getting through the second one right now. Like, we're getting somewhere, and I'm filming this for you guys, so you're gonna get a reading vlog sometime. Sometime this year you're gonna see me reading this entire series. The only thing I gotta say is I'm waiting for Rio's book very desperately. And it just got announced, I think, like I saw it on Kindle Unlimited, that we will get Rio's book in book 5. But why did we have to wait 5 books, you know? Like, it's a bit too long. Then we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, a fan favorite at this point, right? I mean, this is also an OG TikTok book, if you ask me. So I still need to get around to reading this. I started it a very long time ago, and I didn't finish it yet, but I like her writing style. Like, I feel like Taylor Jenkins Reid just knows what she's doing, obviously, because otherwise she wouldn't be so successful. I just want to get around to reading this fairly soon. One of the biggest books I own, because I already say it in every video, but it's a brick. This is just so heavy, it's crazy. I really feel like I should get this as a Kindle version or something, because I cannot read it like this. I feel like I'm gonna break my wrist trying to read this. But it's Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. It is the first book in the Boys of Torment series. Everyone has been raving about it, so yeah, I'm gonna pick it up eventually. I'm actually gonna film this as well for you guys, so this can also be seen as like all the book videos you can expect from me in the upcoming few months. Then we have From the Grave by Kresley Cole. I already talked your ear off about this one in my fall recommendations video, so I'm just gonna link that somewhere here. And I'm not gonna explain more to you about this because this is the last part in the Poison Princess series. Loved the series, that's all I gotta say. Another part in the series is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I just recently finished this one, and this one will also be in a reading vlog. Yeah, I have some controversial thoughts about this actually. Like, I don't know what to say to you yet because I want to keep this to myself right now. We have to talk. That's for sure. The next book in here is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. Also talked to you about this in my fall recommendations video, and I gotta say I did not finish this yet. I'm a bit grossed out by it. By the way, everything was explained so gory and everything. It's just not my type of style right now. Or it used to not be. Maybe it is now. I just need to read it because otherwise I will not find out about it, you know? Then, a few weeks ago, I picked up One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick. Very interesting storyline, I feel like, and also very interesting for fall right now or winter, so this will hopefully be picked up soon. This has also been all over the internet last year, I think, and it's only a duology. So if I have those two done, I'm done with the series. Very tempting, to be honest. If you cannot tell yet, I am not American. Obviously this is not my first language. But the thing is, I bought this book years ago and I overestimated my capabilities in reading in English, or like reading in a foreign language basically. This one for me back then was tough to get through, or into actually. Like not even get through, just into. So I heard it's like a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but I just couldn't pick it up because I didn't understand it, you know, like it was just difficult for me to get into reading in English. Now I don't have a big issue with that anymore, so I feel like right now I might love this. I don't know. I have this for over 2 years at this point, like 2.5 years, and I think it's actually time that I picked this up at one point. I don't know, have you read this? Is it good? Like, I feel like it's been around for such a long time that probably one of you guys have read it and can tell me about it, right? So yeah, let me know. And in general, if English is not your first language, maybe I can also share a bit more of my tips and tricks of reading in a foreign language on this channel, because I feel like it's not really talked about that much. Most of the people I watch on YouTube are actually American or British or Australian or Canadian or whatever. So like for them it's like very natural. And for people who it's not, maybe you want to get into reading English and maybe you don't know where to start. So maybe this channel is for you. Maybe we can talk about this more. Like if you're curious about that, let me know. Because, I mean, that's like something that I can just talk about, right? Like, that's my personal experience. I recently picked this up, Five Brothers by Penelope Douglas. This is my first book of hers. And actually, I have a very big project planned around this book, so I don't want to talk too much about this. And I think it's also going to take some time still. What I planned on, like, the storyline and everything, I think this is going to take some time to analyze and everything. I've heard she's a bit of a smutty author, I don't know. In general, it was just a very interesting premise, and this is her latest release. The last book, what even is that? The last book on the shelf is Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. I'm starting to hear a lot more people talk about Kennedy Ryan recently, and I love that because I've never heard of this book before I picked it up at Strand. And for me that's just very intriguing because I feel like she has a ton of books already out there. Like she has a very long backlist, and maybe we can just start talking more about authors like this. So I want to read this very soon because I feel like she has a lot of expertise when it comes to writing, and it sounded like she writes more realistic love stories, which I love. Like it's a bit more psychological maybe even. I want to start by finishing up this shelf, like this entire side of the bookshelf, instead of talking about the books on this side. So we're gonna do this one first. So we have the first 3 books of the Throne of Glass series in German. And I've read the first one. I read this 2 times because I liked it, and then I started to get into the second one, and then I was bored, and then I stopped reading, and then I had to pick this one up again so that I like could get into this one again more easily, and then I stopped reading this one again. So I actually thought I would read this one very soon, like after finishing this. So that's why I picked it up as well. And I never got around to reading the series, like continuing it. Because for some reason Throne of Glass is something I could not get into yet. And I don't know if I want to give it a 3rd shot actually. I really liked her Akotar series, and that's why I had such high hopes for this one, but I don't know. Then we have the 2nd and 3rd book, I think, in the From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer Armentrout, also in German. Yeah, I loved the first book, or at least I really enjoyed it. Fun fact about me, Jennifer Armentrout used to be one of my all-time favorite authors. Like when I started reading, she was one of the first authors I fell in love with, and I just love her writing style. I love the way she comes up with so many different stories and plots and everything. It's just so intriguing to me. And I actually, just for the sake of it, I wanted to love Blood and Ash, but I don't think I loved it as much as I would have liked. And then I picked the second one up, and I actually got very far into it. Or maybe I even finished that one. I think I even finished this, because it's definitely red, like you can tell it's red, but I don't know how far I got into this. And I bought this because I thought I would just love to continue it, but for some reason this series doesn't intrigue me anymore. It's just getting worse and worse for some reason, and I'm a bit disappointed in that. Then we have All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. Sounded like such a good romantasy when I picked it up. It's a duology and I think they're gonna look so cute together, but I picked this up years ago and I had the same thing, like I just couldn't get into it, maybe because it was the language actually for me back then. So maybe I will love this now. I really cannot tell you. It's also about a princess and a pirate. It's giving The Little Mermaid, but dark and twisted in a way. Very cool, actually. Kerstin Gier is a German author and this is the book Vergiss mein nicht. This is a new series that she started a few years ago. And I recently listened to the audiobook, so I'm actually gonna take this one away as well. I loved this author when I grew up. Like she had like different books like Ruby Red and Silver. There are also movies on that, so if you're curious about that, I think you can watch it. And I think Ruby Red is even out in English now. I don't know. Yeah, I loved her back then. But this one was cute. But I'm just not really connecting to her storylines anymore as much. I think maybe I'm just not the target audience anymore. I mean, young adult is just not my cup of tea anymore, I guess. I don't know yet if I will continue this series or not. And then, still in packaging, we have Isara by Julia Dippel, also a German author as far as I'm concerned. And I have no clue what this is about. I just have it here because I have not read this and it's still in its packaging and I want to read it because back then, like a few years ago, I was really intrigued by it, like 5 years ago or something. And I think it's about angels or something. I don't know. Like back then I was really, really hyped and I just never picked it up. So maybe this is actually a very good book. I just cannot tell you anything about this. Okay, so let's move on to this side and then we're actually already done with this video. Already is funny because I think this is actually quite lengthy, but it's fun. I love talking about books with you guys. Okay, so let's talk about what's up here first because I feel like that's the most exciting part. Like, I mean, I displayed it, right? So I just got off of Fairy Loot the special edition of The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. It has gold sprayed edges and it's beautiful. So cute, and it even has a letter. It's so beautiful. I just love this. Like Fairy Loot just knows what they're doing. We are all not surprised, right? So I just put this here. I already read that book as an ebook. I just felt like this needed to be displayed, you know? I just wanted it as decoration, so it's gonna be here. Have a little candle, a few crystals. Let's move on to the bottom shelf. Actually, let me get you a bit closer. Hi, I'm in the corner here. I'm just gonna stay like this because it just makes more sense. So here, this is a bit squished into here because I just picked this up and this is the current buddy read I'm reading with a very good friend of mine. It's My Dark Desire by L.J. Shen and Parkhurst Huntington. I've heard of L.J. Shen before. I have a few books of hers on my list and it just looked so beautiful. Like this is the most gorgeous cover that I've ever seen. And then my boyfriend, very kindly, I'm a bit upset about that. Like I know I said I'm not like into materialistic things and stuff as much, or like I don't really care, but this, he sat on it. You see that? I was really hurt by this. Like that physically hurt me because that's a new level of like damaging a book, right? But I'm currently reading this. As I said, it's a buddy read. Really like it so far. It's very funny actually. And like, of course, it's a bit twisted. It's dark romance, which, okay, My Dark Desire, yes. But also like, look at the cover. Like in which way is this dark and twisted, you know? Like it just looks so cute. But it's nice. It's the second one to My Dark Romeo, I think. And it's interconnected, but you can read this standalone. Because I did not read My Dark Romeo and I still eat this shit up. So I'm gonna give you a review later this month. Then actually there's a book in here by my boyfriend. I'm actually gonna move this down a bit because yeah, why is it even in my shelves, right? Like we don't need that. I have Circe in here by Madeline Miller. I thought when I picked it up, oh, small tiny book, gonna fly through this one. Greek mythology, sounds interesting. Was actually very cheap. Oh wow, I got this for €7. That's crazy. Yeah, well, and then it just seemed a bit too like lengthy and like too difficult for me to read actually. So now I didn't pick it up anymore, but that was also 3 years ago. So I'm gonna pick this up at one point again. Also about gods or trials or something is The Run by Dana Müller-Braun. This is also a German author, obviously, by the name. Yeah, I started this and I'm on page 30. And actually I thought for a second I finished this because I really don't remember anything and it didn't hook me. That's all I remember. But I also feel like it's too sad to just put it away. So I feel like I'm gonna give it a second shot at one point. I just don't read it in German a lot anymore. Like all these books I have on here, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna read the English ones first because I'm just not intrigued by this. Like, I don't know why, it's just, I don't know, it's just what it is. Then one of my best friends actually, she gave me this book, Tuesdays with Maury, because she said this actually changed her life. Like she annotated it to the brim and she just loves this book a lot, and I have not read it yet, but I'm gonna try to read it very, very soon, because actually this is something then that's close to my heart, you know, like that's just important to me that I read this. But yeah, she really like made it sound good to me, so I'm curious about this. A book that has a bit of a backstory actually, and I bought this thrifted like a few months ago, and it's Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella, and I read her entire Shopaholic series like 8 years ago, 6 years ago, I don't know. I loved the series so much. I loved all the characters. I loved the writing style, but I read it in German. I feel like it's gonna be so much more funny even in English. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like if it's translated, sometimes the humor could get lost. At least that's what I'm afraid of. But I even then found it so entertaining. So I'm really curious of reading Sophie Kinsella's book in English, in the original language. And yeah, I loved the movie too, to be honest. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but this is just my childhood. I love this to death. So yeah, Becky Bloomwood is my spirit animal, and I'm gonna read this one very soon, hopefully. This is a good palate cleanser, I think. Like just rereading a book that you loved back then. Oh, what if I don't like it anymore? That's the worst though. Then we have Affirmations by Louise Hay. This is like a 21-day guide of like positive affirmations and exercises you can do. So I'm gonna try to do that the upcoming few days, weeks. That's why it's still in here, because I have not finished that one yet. Another self-help book is Mindset, Changing the Way You Think to Fulfill Your Potential. I got this recently and I've seen it everywhere. I recently saw someone also reading it in the bus and I was like, oh, I really want to pick this up. So my mom actually got it for me and I'm really, really, really excited to get to this. But right now I'm a bit out of my self-help book era again. So I will wait to pick this one up till I'm really in the mood for it. A book that's not even lengthy is Working Hard, Hardly Working by Grace Beverly, and I'm halfway through. This is a book that I picked up 3 times over the years. Continued reading, and never finished it. So I hope that this year I will finally finish it. I don't know anymore. Like, it's just taking too long. A romance book I'm very interested in is Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. This is not a typical love story. I think this is very sad and it's gonna make me cry. It just sounds heart-wrenching and beautiful. And I've never read anything by her. Oh wow, wait, Olivia Blake? I thought it's Olivia Blake. No, she also wrote The Atlas Paradox. I just always thought her name is Olivia. Oh wow, sorry about that. Another book I picked up at Waterstones years ago is Cinderella is Dead by Colleen Bayron, because back then I've heard a lot of people say that it's really, really good, and I just didn't pick it up yet. And I don't know, it's actually really not intriguing to me anymore, to be honest. But yeah, I feel like it could be interesting. It's something out of my comfort zone, because I think it's like a bit about female empowerment, and it also covers a bit like LGBTQ+. I've just never read a book like this, so I think it could be interesting. A young adult book that everyone loves though is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, and I'm not really into young adult anymore, as I already said. So I'm a bit afraid of picking this up, because what if I don't love it? But on the other hand, everyone says it's such a good book. I'll pick it up sometime this year, I hope. But this was also an impulse purchase, I gotta be honest with you. Another impulse purchase was Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. I've not heard anyone talk about this, and recently I found out that Larry finds it like to be one of her favorite books, and I didn't know that when I picked it up. Like, I just had no clue. I just saw that it's an unforgettable TikTok sensation and I was like, never heard of that. What is that? No clue. Apparently it's very good, and it's a sports romance. So once I'm in a mood for a good sports romance, my camera just died, but what I wanted to say is once I'm in the mood to pick up a sports romance, I will pick this one up for sure. And the last book on this shelf is The Long Way Home, which is the 3rd book in the Magnolia Park series by Jessa Hastings. I still need to pick this up. Oh, and it's a very lengthy book as well, so that's why I didn't get around to reading it yet. Loved the first 2 books. I'm right now a bit more interested in Magnolia and BJ's story than I'm actually into Daisy Hates. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm curious of how this is gonna be. And then we just have the 5-minute journal here, or the 6-minute diary, and a small notebook. So nothing special, actually. And this concludes my TBR bookshelf tour. I'm so excited that I could show you this and that we could have a small little go through. These are just the books I want to read fairly soon or in the future, so I think it's very interesting that we can talk and chat about these. I really love the setup here. I love the way this entire room looks. I feel very cozy here. Let me know how you like this video, and if you watched all the way to the end, leave me a then leave me a candle emoji down below in the comments, and then I know. I would love to hear from you. Have a beautiful and blissful day, and I want to see you next week. Bye!